All right, good morning, traders. Today is November 26, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. I want to thank everybody here in the room with me this morning. Thank you for your subscriptions. I don't take that for granted. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyberland. Thank you for following me, liking the content, hearting the content, following me, and special shout out for sharing the content. Thank you so much, John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Jim Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, and everybody else out there. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, good morning, Lenny. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the video. Let's take this down. Let's see what we got today. Oh, before I get started, let's do some announcements. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, that's going to be tomorrow. So hope you all enjoy your day with your family. Okay, we're going to have a half day today. So trading room closes at noon today. Thursday, we will not be open in the room. I think the room will be open, but we won't be here. Okay, so Friday, same thing. Okay, rooms will probably be open, but we won't be here. All right, so that's for our Thanksgiving schedule right there. Okay, next one. Open house for the BYOB Trading Room. Okay, again, I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can get registered out there in podcast land, digital land, cyberland if you'd like to attend. It's going to be Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Full day from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Okay, so open house again on December 3rd. That's a Wednesday instead of a Monday. Okay, so full house there. Full house and open house. Black Friday, all right, because we're going to be closed, but Black Friday we have a lifetime subscription that is $39.95. Regularly sells for $10,000. And we have one other special coming in for Cyber Monday, and that is the annual. All right, that's the annual for $1,205, and you get an extra 6 months for free. All right, so that's 18 months for the price of an annual, which happens to be $1,205. All right, that's Cyber Monday. I'll leave links in the descriptions and I'll post them in the chat. Hey, good morning, CP. All right, so those are our sales for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. We got Lifetime for $39.95, and then for Cyber Monday, we got the annual for $12.05, and you get an extra 6 months for free on that one. So that's 18 months for $12.05. All right, let's take a look at what else we got here, and we're looking for this right here. Got the right one. Okay, so hey, again, good morning. Okay, so my SPY pivot this morning, 671.90. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab Five made higher highs and higher lows, closing over their bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. SPY closed 2-hour uptrend, 10-minute uptrend. Gold in a daily uptrend made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Silver in a daily downtrend made a higher low and a higher high, closed over a bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. USO in a daily downtrend made a lower low, lower high, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. UNG starts a new daily downtrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish cross and under the 17 EMA. US dollar index remains in an uptrend, still in that big bear flag, and closed near the 99.86 area. SPY max pain for today, 672, with a put to call ratio of about 1.9 puts for each call that expires today. Again, those index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4 p.m. All right, this is your first time. These are all under the bulls. These are all in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. This is your first time. All of these under the bears column are in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they got a little star next to it, They're building out a bull flag, or I call it a launch pad, from which to launch higher. If these have a star next to it, they're building out a bear flag or a platform from which to dip lower. All right, so these are over the 17, these are under the 17 EMA. All right, let's take a look at SPY this morning, and you can see here's yesterday's candle. Higher low, higher high, closing, see over the bullish trap or over the trap and over the 17 EMA. Okay, so I'm looking for price to probably run up here and tag this downtrend line right here. See this? Got a downtrend line, looking for them to go up there and tag that downtrend line right there. Hopefully they can get on top and hold on top of it. We'll see what they want to do, but I'll be tickled if they just get up there and touch it. All right, so there's SPY, at least poke a hole in it so that the next time we come up through, we can get through. So there's SPY on the daily chart. Price closed over the all-time high anchored VWAP. On the 2-hour chart, we have a 2-hour uptrend. We get the candlesticks riding on top of the 3 EMA. You got the candlesticks in the 3 riding over the 8 EMA. All 3 of them, the 8 EMA, the 3 EMA, and the candlesticks riding over the 17 EMA, which is this dots right through here. So that is a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close yesterday on SPY. On the 10-minute chart, same thing, 10-minute candles riding on top of the 3 EMA, 3 EMA and the candlesticks riding over the 8 EMA. Again, both of them kind of pointed up, a little flat right there. Riding over, you got 8 EMA, 3 EMA, candlesticks riding over the 17 EMA. So we got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. Okay, that's on SPY 10-minute chart. Weekly chart, still in an uptrend. Just had that 3-candle pullback, still in an uptrend. Nothing's broken yet, okay? They would have to take out a low that's below the 17, and this would be the first low way down here. So a long ways to go to take out that low, but we could get there fast if things fall apart. So there's SPY on the weekly, still in a weekly uptrend. Monthly chart, still in a monthly uptrend. Again, the low to take out would be this one that pokes through the 17. We'd have to come all the way down there to take out that low. In order to convert the uptrend into a downtrend, we'd have to take that out. That would take some really big red candles to wipe that out. So there's SPY on the monthly chart, the weekly chart, uptrend, monthly chart, uptrend, daily chart. Okay, on the daily chart, we're still in a downtrend because we got this low here, and we happen to make a lower low. So we're still in the downtrend, okay? But if we took out this high, and I think we did yesterday, okay? So we took out this high right here. So we're no longer in a downtrend. We're now in an uptrend after yesterday's candle took out this high over the 17. So we have a peak right there. We took out, so now in an uptrend on SPY daily chart. So get this, we've got a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right, that resides inside of a 2-hour uptrend. That resides inside of a daily uptrend. That resides inside of a weekly uptrend. That resides inside of a monthly uptrend. And we are over all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, this is my favorite trade. For me, this is the ultimate trade. We got all of the bigger time frames pushing and supporting that little 10-minute uptrend, all right, to go further and farther. So this is the setup that this is my prime setup. This is the one I like the most. This is the one I like the best, okay? This is it. It doesn't get any better than this, all right? Unless there was like no prior price action. That's the only time it gets better than this, but and that happened right there, okay, when there was nothing above it, okay? But it doesn't get any better than this, and that's the only time is when there's no price action over here to the left to obstruct price from going higher, okay? So here's SPY. We're in my favorite setup today. 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, inside the 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend, okay? All over, you guessed it, the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, that's the setup. That's the one I like today. Again, got the 10-minute chart. I'll be looking for, let's put the pre-market on there, but I would look for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so I would look for a candle that's not a doji or a spinning top. Okay, so no dojis, no spinning tops. I would not want there to be a candle that has more wick than body and tail. All right, and I would not want a red candle. Okay, because all of those either show me bearish control or bulls and bears agreeing on price. Okay, so I would want a nice green candle, hopefully something that rises up over the top. Let's go take a look. We'll take a look at the pre-market later on before I shut down the video. All right, but anyways, that's what I'd be looking for in SPY and probably QQQ. Let's take a look at SPY game plan. Again, on the game plan, we've got price over 676.25. That's a green erases red entry. The pivot 671.90. All right, above it I'm a bull, and below it I'm a bear. Red erases green underneath 667.15 underneath there. Okay, I like 2 days till expiration Friday options for both SPY and QQQ, and 9 days till expiration Friday options for both SPY and QQQ on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. Okay, I like a lot of liquidity. I like to trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. They're cheaper. All right, I can put in less risk by trading that. I like to trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I just shared that with you. We've got the prime setup here today. I like to trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Now, if a 10-minute downtrend happens to manifest up here, long before it gets to the red erases green entry, I'm not opposed to trading it as long as it breaks the bearish rubber band candle, okay, on the 10-minute chart. Same thing when green erases red. If a uptrend were to manifest down here, or here, long before the green erases red entry, I would not be opposed to trading it as long as it breaks the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle. Okay, that goes for SPY and QQQ. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ game plan, same thing. All right, I like 2 days and 9 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. Green erases red entry over 610.25, pivot 604.50. Above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Red erases green over 599.75. Okay. Again, we left off on QQQ. This is the 10-minute chart, a 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so got a nice 10-minute uptrend. I would look for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend when we open up this morning. Okay, continuation. Again, no dojis, no spinning tops, no candles like this. Got more wick than body and tail combined. Okay, there's more wick than the body and tail combined. Don't want anything like that. Don't want a red candle. That's bearish control. Again, I don't want any dojis or spinning tops. Okay, I want to see something with where the bulls are stepping in loud and proud. Okay, so that's QQQ. All right, looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. That's QQQ on the 10-minute chart. 2-hour chart, you can see right here, we got the candlesticks riding on the 3 in the candlesticks riding over the 8, all 3 of them riding over the rising 17. They're all pointed up. We have a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close and a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. On the daily chart, let's take a look at what we got here. Okay, yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross and over the 17 EMA. Now notice QQQ did not take out that high. So they're still in a downtrend, but they're up here in the middle of quadrant 4, just like SPY. So they're bullish, but they're in a downtrend that's moving in the opposite direction right now. Currently moving in the opposite direction. Okay, remember SPY. Okay, just converted the uptrend. Okay, and they're up in the middle of quadrant 4. And they're bullish, but they're in an uptrend right there. Okay, let's take a look at FNGU. Okay, FNGU, yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross and over the 17 EMA, but under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Up here in the bottom of quadrant 4, that's still bullish right there, but still in a downtrend. They have not made any higher highs yet. That's FNGU. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap or over a bullish cross and over the 17 EMA and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. And they are still in a downtrend unless this took out that high right there. I don't know if it did. Let's see, the 17 is 468.68 and the high is 469.03. So this is an uptrend right now. So Diamond Dow in an uptrend in the middle of quadrant 4. I'll zoom way out. Okay, in the middle of quadrant 4 and bullish. Bullish because it's up here in quadrant 4. All right, and now in an uptrend over the all-time high anchored VWAP. There's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at IWM. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17 EMA, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, which is the pink line. They are still in a downtrend. They did not take out this high. Okay, so they're still in a downtrend. They're in the middle of quadrant 4, but they are not. They are not in an uptrend. They are in a downtrend that is moving upward. Okay, it's a downtrend that's not working. All right, it's a downtrend that's not going down. It's actually going up. They are ever so close to converting the uptrend. All they got to do is take out that high on that wick up there. I think they can get that done. All right, so there's IWM on the daily chart, bullish and in a downtrend that's not working. Let's take a look at GLD. GLD still bullish, still in an uptrend, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17 and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Middle of quadrant 4, that's bullish, still in an uptrend. Silver started a new downtrend a couple days ago. Today, they're still in that downtrend. If they take out this high, they can have an uptrend. Currently, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17 and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. So currently they are bullish up here in near the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish, and in a downtrend that is not working, or a downtrend that is having a sharp pullback to the upside. So again, they're ever close to taking out. If they take out that wick, they will have negate the downtrend. Now they got themselves in a downtrend because we got a little tail down here. They made a lower low, so that put them into a downtrend. Now if they take out that high, they can convert the downtrend into an uptrend right there. Okay, let's take a look at USO. USO, lower high, lower low. They're still in a downtrend, making lower highs. There's a high, there's a lower high, and lower lows. You can see there's a low. They made a lower low. So lower high. So they're still in a downtrend. They're not in the upper third. That would be bullish. They're not in the lower third. That would be bearish. They're kind of in neutral, but they are ever close to closing candles down here in the lower third. This would be bearish. Currently neutral and in a downtrend, as you can see the slope on the downtrend line or the diagonal resistance up above. Price action continues to produce candles underneath it. That's USO. Take a look at UNG. One more time. Okay, UNG starts a new downtrend. Right here, there's a low. They made a lower low yesterday. They got a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap or under a bearish cross and under the 17 EMA. Okay, so UNG starting a new downtrend, and they are in the middle of quadrant one, so that's bearish, and in a downtrend for UNG. Okay, we'll take a look at our technicals, and we'll start with T2101. Price actually moved up, and the breadth and the participation moved up yesterday. That is a welcoming sign. Kind of like to see that. So as price moved up, the breadth increased and the participation increased. So we like that. That's what you want to see. All right, is more people getting involved when price starts moving up. So T2101 in the right direction, and the right going in the right direction, moving up. All right, T2122, we came out of the buyer's chop zone and spent the whole day in the overbought zone. Does not mean we're going to sell off today. We may sell off, but I'm just saying that just because we're in the overbought zone does not mean we have to sell off. So you can see we spent the whole day camped out in the overbought zone. Very bullish all day, T2122. We like that. I'd rather see them in the buy zone, but if they want to hang out in the overbought zone, that's fine. Let's take a look at T2123. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. I like that. All right, maybe we can start filling some bearish gaps like that one right there. Price action still under the falling 200 SMA. Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. Not a bear yet. So T2123 making higher lows and higher highs on the 15-minute chart. You can see the 17 here. So we got a low. We made higher lows. Okay, got a high and a high. We made higher highs. So that puts us in an uptrend on the 15-minute chart. Now if I zoom way out, okay, and I stick the quad lines on here, okay, that right here is the all-time high. You can see we're still down here in quadrant one, all right, but now we have an uptrend. So we've got a lot of work to do here on T2123. Okay, a whole lot of work to do to get all the way back up to these highs and start producing some higher all-time highs. We'll see. So this is in an uptrend, but bearish down here in quadrant one, the 15-minute chart. On the 3-bar chart, we've got, I'm going to take the quad lines off right there. And I'm going to leave the big quad lines on. Okay, so there's the big quad line. This will be quadrant one. This will be April rally. Quadrant 2, 3, 4. So we have a little head and shoulders here that was taken out by this all-time high up there. And so, but it was support before. So we're getting it bounce off of, yes, you guessed it, the same area that provided the new all-time high, the most recent all-time high up here. Okay, so we're bouncing off of this support. As you can see, price comes down into here and then spikes back out of there. Okay, so for the 3-bar chart, okay, we have a low and we made lower lows. So we're still in a downtrend. If we happen to, there's a high. If we happen to make a higher high up here, we will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. Now, if they start closing candles down any lower than this would be the upper third. This is where I remain bullish. If they can't hold on to the bullish area up here, we're going into neutral territory, and below the neutral territory is the bearish territory. So we're still bullish, all right, because they're in the upper third, but they're in a downtrend and clearly not moving in the right direction, okay? Yesterday's candle was nice in the fact that they gapped up and they held the higher ground, okay? They need to do several more of those in order to get over this high here to convert the uptrend, to get over this flat 200, all right, to get bullish, All right. So they're going to need to do several more of those and at least get back to the middle of quadrant 4, where it's bullish all through here, but it looks a little bit better when they're making higher highs, and they haven't done that in a while. FNGU is coming up next. So here's FNGU yesterday doing well. Okay, you can see in the pre-market holding up over pink line, all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. Price action climbing on top of this falling 200 SMA. Nice work there for the bulls. Price action made, there's a low, there's a higher low, and they made higher highs. So you can see them climbing up here and challenging the all-time high anchored VWAP. So 15-minute in an uptrend. Okay, again, below this green line right there, that would be major support. Things could fall apart. You can see the bulls came in and rescued the price action. Okay, so got to start, keep moving up. They have to continue with this. If they lay off the gas now, we could very well just roll over and produce a lower low. So we'll see what happens with that. Take a look at the economic package. Okay, on the dollar, we'll pick up the dollar right here. Okay, so this is yesterday's candle, this nice red one right there. So we closed around 99.88, 99.88 area. You can see we're still in an uptrend. Okay, we made, there's a low, we made a higher low, there's a high, we made a higher high. So we're in a daily uptrend. The good news is, to remain in the bear flag, they needed to take out this high and consolidate above it. Okay, so you can see they failed to produce a higher high right here, right at the resistance area, and they're having a pullback right now. So we'll see if they're going to run around and try it again. Okay, so we're still in the bear flag. You can see price moves from this high up here down to this low here in July, or down to this low here in April, or the end of April, and then over to the right. So that's a big bear flag right there. But currently in a daily uptrend, all right, that has not failed yet. They failed to make a higher high right here, but who says they're done? Okay, that doesn't look like they're done yet. All right, they haven't left the area up here. If we were to stick the quad lines on there, we would see that they're still up in quadrant 4, all right, and they're bullish still because they haven't made a lower low, all right. So there's the U.S. dollar index right there. Okay, earnings. Okay, for today, Wednesday, we're going to get John Deere's going to report this morning, 126 billion. Some familiar names, but nothing that's going to be market moving. Thursday, we're closed. Friday, again, familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. Economic calendar for today. All right, so we've got MBA mortgage applications at 7, durable good orders at 8:30. It is past 8:30. It's a delayed report. We got the durable good report, good orders. Both of them are delayed. I guess they put the same thing twice. Both at 8:30. GDP comes out at 8:30. That's a delayed report. International trade in goods in goods, that comes out at 8:30. A lot of data coming out at 8:30. Jobless claims 8:30. Retail inventories 8:30. Wholesale inventories 8:30. Chicago PMI 945. New home sales at 10. Personal income and outlays at 10. That could be interesting. All right, and petroleum report at 10:30. Remember, tomorrow we're off, and Friday there's nothing coming out except for farm prices, and the markets close at 1 p.m. on Friday. Okay, so that's it for that right there. So he did earnings, economic calendar. Max Payne is 672. And the put to call ratio is about 1.9 puts for each call. All right. Good morning. Thank you for sharing, Alan. Appreciate that as always. I am going to render the video and get it out there for everybody in podcast land and digital land. And I appreciate everybody listening. Thank you, traders.